Hi, my name's Carmen Gilfillan, and I'm a life coach and an energy healer and a wellness coach. And I thought I'd put this recording together regarding how to cope emotionally with COVID. And this is just a three-step approach to coping emotionally with what's going on at the moment. We're hearing a lot about what's happening in terms of the number of people who are passing away from this virus. But what they're not telling us is what we need to do to just begin to cope better with the situation from an emotional point of view. And the reason why I'm focusing on the emotions is that that's kind of my area of speciality. I've been an emotional freedom therapist since 2009. I've been using it on myself and on my clients. I qualified in it in 2011, and I've been using it in my wellness practice Stimulus since then. And I've had some amazing results from using it with my clients and also using it on myself. I had a lot of issues around anxiety that went back to my school days, and I've cleared a lot of that through using this technique. But I will be putting out a separate video on emotional freedom technique because I think it's going to be something that people are going to find useful in the current climate to deal with the emotional fallout of what's happening in terms of the coronavirus, and also in terms of other stuff that is going on alongside the coronavirus at the moment. So I wanted to keep this particular recording really simple, and I've got a very simple 10-page ebook which I'm also going to be putting out that goes alongside this recording, but I thought I'd put this out as an audio to start off with. So how to cope emotionally with COVID, a three-step approach. So in this time of uncertainty, we need to know how to deal with what's coming at us on an emotional level. It's easy at the moment to become scared, to become insecure, to become confused, uneasy, and everything else in between. And we might feel right now that we're at the mercy of external affairs. And to an extent, that is true. But we're still in control of how we think and how we feel on a day-to-day, moment-to-moment basis. Now, it may not feel that way at the moment, but we are. And the following approach is designed to help you to deal on an emotional level with what's happening at the moment. And to keep it simple, it consists of just 3 steps. Step 1 is to accept, step 2 is to assess, and step 3 is to act. So step 1, accept. What do we mean by this? Well, what we need to do is to accept that this situation is happening. We are said to be in unprecedented times. This is what they are constantly telling us in the media. In many ways, however, these are not unprecedented. We've had mass virus incidents in the past. So, for example, the plague, which was said to have resulted in the deaths of up to 200 million people globally in the 14th century. We also have to realise that the coronavirus itself isn't new. You'll see it stated on bleach bottles, for example, indicating that the coronavirus itself is not new. What we're dealing with is a new strain, not a new virus. Hence, it's called COVID-19. The current situation is inevitably going to have an effect on us emotionally. So reactions to the developments, and these are reactions that I've seen in terms of people around me, myself, my clients. So reactions to the developments at the moment may include fear, disbelief, feeling ungrounded, out of sorts. For me personally, sometimes it feels like there's an eerie silence at the moment in this lockdown, and it feels almost like a calm before the storm. People can feel a sense of hopelessness, helplessness. Some people are feeling fatigued, and sometimes fatigue can be linked to feeling down, melancholic, or even feeling depressed. If you have, for example, a chronic exhaustive condition, one of the effects of that is feeling fatigue. It's the body trying to shut down, trying to get away from what is happening around you and the stress of what's happening around you. So sometimes the effect of that can be tiredness. It could be a feeling of wanting to escape and more. And we can describe this reaction or set of reactions as being in a space of non-acceptance. Part of it could be that we're finding it difficult to accept what is going on. And when we're in this space of non-acceptance, parts of us just might want to switch off from what's happening. It could be we don't want to hear the news. It could be we don't want to read emails that are coming into us. We might be wincing at WhatsApp messages and other messages coming in about the virus. And parts of us maybe just want to close down. This is a disempowering place for us to be emotionally. One of the ways that we can start to dispel these negative reactions or responses to what's going on is to move ourselves into a place of acceptance of what is. The situation is what it is. We can't change what is at the moment. And when I'm talking about what is, I mean on a global scale. It is what it is. And moving into a space where we can acknowledge that the situation is what it is, that can be immensely freeing emotionally. Acceptance means that we let go of the internal battle that comes from us wanting to go back to the way things were before the virus outbreak. Being in this space is not necessarily useful because we're desiring something that, even though it may well happen, may not occur in the immediate future. And in any case, if things go back to the way they were, chances are with everything that's happened and everything that is happening, things are not going to be the same ever. There are some fundamental shifts, some fundamental transformations that are taking place at the moment, which means that the very fabric of our lives may change. Constantly wanting things to be different than what they are can lead us into a state of constant low-level stress because of this inner battle. So step one of this three-step process is to start by accepting the situation for what it is. I want to really stress that this does not mean that you condone the situation in any way, shape, or form. You are simply letting go of the inner struggle that comes from non-acceptance. So step two is to assess. So no matter how we look at the situation, this is a major occurrence at present that's affecting us globally. We therefore need to be looking at it head on. How do we do this though? If we're in denial, if we're in a state of non-acceptance, if we're in a place of frustration and stress. You can start by assessing your own situation and looking at where you are in relation to what's going on out there. And one powerful way to do this is by asking yourself questions. Some of the questions that you can start to ask yourself are, what does this situation mean for you? And what that means is, how do you feel about what's going on globally? What are your thoughts behind the feelings that you have? Remember, you have the thought first, then you have the feeling afterwards. What could you do at the moment? So what can I do at the moment? And what I mean by this is, what skill sets do you have and how can you use those skill sets to help other people and maybe even create an income for yourself right now? There is a lot of uncertainty around people's financial situations at the moment. So this is a really good time to be looking inwards. We're on lockdown. So this is a really good time to be looking inwards and looking at your skill set. What can you do? Being able to help others and give back is going to help to give you, from an emotional point of view, a sense of purpose, a sense of direction, and something you can control. The next question that you can ask yourself is, right, so what will you do? So what am I going to do with the skill set that I have? And having assessed your talents, your abilities, your skills, and your knowledge, So a useful acronym to remember that by is TASK, T-A-S-K. What will you commit to doing? When are you going to start? What help are you going to need to get started? And the help is obviously at the moment going to have to be probably something virtual or help that you're going to get over the phone. These are the kind of questions that are going to start to open up your creativity and get you thinking outside of the box. This is going to help to give you a sense of groundedness, a sense of emotional balance, and a sense of purpose again at this time of uncertainty. So these are useful questions to answer because you're going to be going inside yourself and tapping into your own inner intelligence rather than being solely dependent on what's being offered to you by external bodies. There are so many webinars being offered at the moment that we can tune into, many of which are sharing valuable content, valuable trainings, or upskilling information, and many of which are being offered at lower than normal rates or even for free. These are webinars we can tap into to learn new skills that we can potentially offer to others. If you can create your own income stream by upskilling, from a psychological point of view, this puts you in a position of control. This sense of control moves you up out of survival mode and into one of confidence and hopefulness. Step 3 is to act. So the next step is to take action based on your review of your situation and to do this at your earliest convenience. The action might be to, as I've said, jump on a webinar that's related to whatever field you specialise in. It could be getting some coaching. It could be calling old clients if you're in business and reconnecting with them. It could be learning how to get online. Or it could just be a case of cleaning up your environment, changing your diet, getting out and exercising every day, or whatever else you feel that you need to do. There's always something that you can do, even if you're employed and you can't work at the moment and you're on lockdown. If you see this as an opportunity to upskill and learn something new, then you'll be taking advantage of this time rather than just using it as a holiday. You don't need to rush though. You don't need to panic. You don't need to run around to get any of these things done. You just need to decide what you're going to do and do things at the next available opportunity at your earliest convenience. And there's a reason why I'm saying don't rush, don't panic, don't run around. This puts you into survival mode. That's the mode you do not want to be in at the moment. Even though intellectually, you know, for example, there may be pressure for you to create certainty around your financial situation. At the same time, what you want to be doing right now is to be sending a message to your brain that you're okay and that whatever happens, you are going to cope. Again, you do not want to be dropping into a state of fear or into survival mode because you'll struggle to make rational, considered decisions about your situation and about your future. Pacing yourself and breathing is one way you can keep yourself grounded and in a state of what we call rest and digest. This is where you're relaxed and the blood is flowing to your vital organs, including your brain, rather than away from them. This is the state you want to be in as often as possible at the moment. And yes, it's a challenge, but you can take control over your mind. When moving into this action stage, be selective about what you do and how you go about things. So I've got 6 tips here that may help you to take action, and whatever that action means for you at the moment, from a more centered and grounded and balanced space. So tip number 1 is let go of anything that you don't consider to be urgent. You may feel that all of the messages and information flowing to you at the moment, you may feel that it's all urgent and it has to all be acted on, it has to be read, it has to be consumed. That's not necessarily the best approach to have. To an extent, a lot of it is going to be useful, and a lot of it you will want to engage in because it's going to help you deepen your understanding of the current situation. Having said that, it is up to you to decide what you think is urgent and important given the situation right now, and separate that from what is trivial, scaremongering, or simply a waste of your time. And I get that at the moment this might not be easy to do, but you have something called your intuition to guide you. And your intuition is your inner GPS, and you also have your common sense. So when I say your inner GPS, it's your inner guidance system, your intuition. And the more you use your intuition, the stronger it becomes, and the more that you can rely on it to guide you. Use these tools to help you make firm decisions about what you're going to pick up and take notice of, and what you're not going to engage with. Okay? And this includes how much news you take in, which leads on to my next point. Point number 2, or tip number 2, is to limit the amount of news that you watch. Now, that may sound counterintuitive because, yes, you need to be up to date. Yes, you need to know what's going on, but you don't need to be completely inundated. Get the headlines and the updates, get an understanding of the latest situation, then switch off for a few hours and go back to your personal situation. So go back to what you can control. Remember, we as individuals can't control what's happening globally unless it's on an energetic level, a spiritual level, and or a collective level, which again, I won't go into in this recording. That would be for another session. But we can control what we do in our corner of the world. So get the updates, get up to speed with what's going on, and then come back to your reality and be mindful of the news that you take in. Be mindful of where you get your news from. Be mindful of the news that is in the mainstream. Consume that news with a very open mind. Number 3 is keep as much as possible to your normal routine. Although nothing about the current situation is normal, we all know that, your brain wants to feel as settled as possible. So keep to your normal routines wherever you can. If you don't like routines or you don't have one, create one, if only just for the time being. Part of a normal routine might be something as simple as giving someone in your family a call. It could be going out for your daily run. It could be watching your favourite TV programme. Be mindful of what you're watching at the moment, by the way. It could be housework. It could be garden work. Routine is something your primal animal brain needs in order for you to feel safe. As well as needing things to be fresh and new and different, your brain needs things to be the same, normal and regular. So it's about getting a balance between those two. Tip number 4 in terms of taking action is slow down your pace and breathe. Even though you know intellectually that everything is probably out of sorts or irregular or not normal at the moment, slowing down your pace and breathing again sends a calming message to your brain and prevents you dropping into survival or fight-flight mode. This survival mode, fight-flight mode, is triggered when the brain thinks you're under threat. And as we've said, making rational, grounded, considered decisions in this mode is going to be a lot more challenging. Tip number 5 is take things one day at a time. This is a situation that is unfolding before our eyes. Our lives are being impacted each day by the decisions made at government level and above. So adopt a flexible rather than a rigid planning style. Yes, look to the future, because again, it gives you direction, it gives your mind direction, and it gives you something to focus on. However, be ready to change, be ready to amend, be ready to adjust in accordance with developments as they unfold. Essentially, what you want to be is like a tree that bends and sways with the direction of the wind. Trees aren't rigid because they will break. Yeah, they bend and they sway with the wind. That's how you want to be. You want to be able to adapt to the changing situation. And the situation is changing on a very regular basis at the moment. So openness is really key at the moment, and taking one day at a time is key. And number 6 is to keep yourself well. Get plenty of sleep. Stay well hydrated, preferably with spring or filtered water, and use essential oils. Keep yourself moving. It's great weather at the moment, so get out there and soak up all of that free vitamin D. Eat well, including lots of fruit smoothies, natural juices, herbal teas, salads, green vegetables, and try and cut down on your dairy intake, on your intake of meat and artificial stimulants like tea, coffee, and alcohol. Okay? All of these tips are going to help to keep you in a space of wellness. They are going to help to keep you alert, and they are going to help you to be able to respond, adapt, and react to what is going on at the moment. And finally, keep yourself grounded and in balance on an emotional level through meditation, through reflection, through journaling, and through energy healing modalities such as emotional freedom therapy or Reiki or life alignment as often as you can. These energy healing modalities are absolutely vital to keep you on an energetic level, from an energetic point of view, balanced and strong and emotionally solid. Yeah, because we need to be able to, as I said, adapt and respond to the situation and be in control of ourselves emotionally so that we're not swept away by fear. There is a lot out there that is designed to keep us in a state of fear. So even if we momentarily find ourselves in that state, we need to be mindful of that and then use our breathing, use our energy healing, use our reflection and journaling and our meditation tools to bring us out of that state and into a more relaxed, open and calm state. So in summary, this compassionate, and it is a compassionate approach, this compassionate but practical approach allows you to acknowledge the fact that part of you may be closed off from what's happening in the moment due to feelings of fear and insecurity, but it then allows you to totally acknowledge those feelings, open yourself up to them, and step by step move you into a space of considered action. I wish each and every one of you all the best. Look after yourself. At the moment, keep yourself as well as possible, as open, grounded and balanced as possible, and stay blessed.